Right, well, we just painstakingly created this wall with the lights on it and the toppings, and it's not the end, but I wanted to test it out, so I uploaded it to Roblox using the add-on, this new add-on for Blender to Roblox, and I checked it here in my Creator Hub, and there it is right there. Um, Now, to go in here and get rid of this wall because it's no longer necessary, it is locked, so I got to unlock it, and that will modify it, and select it, and you are no longer desired or necessary. Then it should be in here, wall with, that says wall, that's the old wall. Wall joined was another wall I did, and now there's another wall I did. Wall joined, boy, I did a lot of walls. Wall joined, somewhere in here is supposed to be this wall that is called wall width, and whether it shows up or not is anybody's guess. So where are you, wall width? I mean, sometimes you can come in here and grab your name, and if you get it quite precise, when you go to search in my packages, maybe it will show up. There it is. All right. So that helped. So now I drag this in here, and it comes in really tiny, and then our scale should be 6.5 or thereabouts, and then we have to move it in place. And wouldn't it be nice if Blender's commands could be used in Roblox? Anyway, it doesn't not fit, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the stretch of the imagination. But that's not terrible, as they would say in Le French. Now, the problem with this is it's lost all of its textures, and that kind of sucks. I thought that our textures came in from the Blender when we use textures, and apparently it didn't. Does that mean that I can color it with a material? If I go to a clay wall, like that's sandstone or it's leather, plaster. If I go to plaster, it'll break it, and it's not doing a damn thing. Ah, it did do a damn thing. Look at that. All right, then. It's not a great material. Let's try that. Didn't do anything. Shame. If we go to the surface appearance, parent, color map, we are picking a brownish red. Doesn't seem to do anything. The lights are not lights. And I don't know what, if those were the lights, they would be yellow, but they ain't. Alpha mode overlay, transparency, ew, that's not what we want. Overlay. So that's not necessarily what we want. So how do I get the lights to show up in here? Maybe I don't, maybe I can't, because it's all joined together. And then there's this weird thing there, like this is not good. And that is promptly because our model ain't no good here. And so we've got to really investigate, like, what is that? How can that be that we're not it doesn't show up in this map, and then we have this gap in here. Now, one of the things you can do if that happens is you go in and you tell it you want it to be double-sided. So for that, you have to go to the mesh and say, hey, double-sided, and that takes care of a lot of that, but not all of that. Certainly some of that gets taken care of. As for the lights not showing up, what to say? I mean, brick color and then the color. See, that's not gonna help us at all in there. There's no way to break that apart. If this was those lights, which I don't think it is, then when we go to transparency, something would happen. Ooh, shoot, didn't want to do that. It's not locked. Gotta lock it, then we can't work on it. So we got a wall and it's not working quite the way we wanted it to. And that's a drag. Also, there's no room with this wall the way it is. It really needs to be moved a bit. And then what about you, buddy? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in there when we get in. We can always try to play it, see what it looks like. I'll bet it's going to bounce around because, man, it doesn't have that great textured look anymore. It looks lame. Even though it has a bit of the texture there. It's not perfect. It's like sticking out around there, so it's rotated improperly too. And that means that when we click on it, over here it's very tilted a bit. So what I'm most unhappy about is the color. And there's very little probably I can do about that. Surface appearance. It's not supposed to be yellow anyway. I don't even know what that surface appearance does. The material, even if I make it something really rough, that doesn't even show up as a material. And if I take out, if I delete that and delete that, then we get a interesting surface appearance. I think we do get the material, but then we don't get the color. But we do get the material. But no color. So why is the color not showing up? It says it's cork right now. So that sort of bothers me that we're can't really get any kind of color on there. That's troubling. But we'll keep it as it is for now. And let's just anchor this. Because one of the things that could be done is that we could take one of the lights. If I go here and I put light those round lights, which were ceiling. I could type the word round. There was a round light, round wall lamp. And if I rotate that, then we could have that light. Place that light in the wall. Could do that. Something to think about as we develop. Meanwhile, it's time to lock this. Also to anchor it. And then when we go to play, in terms of this thing, Roblox has its own water, but getting the water into that basin is tricky. So let's see what would happen. First of all, this is where the water really is. How would we get water into that basin? We get water in that basin by going to terrain editor, and creating a terrain for the less. Let's edit, let's create. If we made a terrain and we made it, we move the terrain this way. We made the terrain 100 by 100 by 100. There we have a little terrain. It isn't very big. If we're looking down on it, one might say, I could bring that terrain over here. One could say that that terrain needs to be rotated, if it'll let me rotate it. Position is moving when I do that. There is no, it would just be water. And that would be the seed. The thing is, would it let me, it's not going to let me rotate it. And that's unfortunate, because it would be cool if you could, maybe you can. Nope, can't do anything like that. It's nothing to do with the terrain. But now we're off of the terrain. So the terrain itself was this guy here. So I've never done that. I mean, it doesn't really work, see. That ain't no terrain. Didn't generate anything. And to edit it, well, there it is. Okay, so it did generate a little terrain that we can transform. I don't know. Maybe. That we can sculpt. I don't know. No. So it's hard to tell. This terrain tool is a piece of work. So if I fill it, and I fill it with water, and nothing happened. Paint it, and nothing happened. So for me, the terrain tool is a bust, a total bust. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. There probably is a terrain that was created here somewhere, and I have no idea where it went. So the best I think that we can hope for is if you take this is the Akrich pool, and the Akrich pool does have a link, and that link is archivable, and it's auto update. And if I go to Blender, and I look at our Akrich pool, which is there, why are we caught in that there? What is this for a selection tool? Blender, you drive me crazy. There. So if we select this Akrich pool, which is here, then we might be able to add to it a cube. And maybe we can pretend that that's water. By scaling it. Right, and then selecting a material is bluish. And scaling it down in Z. Put some water. That would be the first thing that we could do. And then if we have, because it's not going to come in as a texture at all if we join it. But if we want to call this cube, we want to call this water fill, I suppose we can bring it in independently to Roblox. And then bring my package and look for water fill. And then bring it in. then scale it up. And where did it go? Went all the way over there. This is where you then go in and get your pivot editor, come to here, then move it in. It's not fitting. Great. Ain't that nice? I think it would fit precisely, but it there's a lot to be desired in the way that the imports work. Yeah, that really is awful. So I think we would just delete that, and let's delete that, and let's bring in, if we re-export this, which is supposed to fit it, this is Akrich Pool 1, then supposedly if we bring in water fill and we bring in Akrich Pool, but that's not Akrich Pool 1.001. No results found. Great, so it doesn't even bring it in. And that is a problem. So let's go look at our dashboard again on our development items. There is no Akrich Pool 1, there's just Akrich Pool. So there's something wrong with like naming conventions, or when you've done a different thing, like this Akrich Pool 1 should be, I can't account Akrich Pool. So if I go and take rid of 0.001 and then we upload this as Akrich Pool, maybe it will update it. This is version 7. So now when we look at Akrich Pool, which you're not going to easily find, Akrich Pool here inside. So when we look at that, it says it was created on November 15th. But when we look at updatable, then it was updated today. So it acts as if it is updated. And when we go to development items, and we go to Akrich Pool, the version history says it was updated just now. Alright, so we then go into here and we ask for Akrich Pool and we bring it in, And it certainly isn't, it's all snappy around. You need to go move. You won't move, will you? I think it doesn't want to go in there. Now part of that could be because the align tool is on. And part of it, so turn off the align tool. And part of it is because it is got joined surfaces maybe. So and then we have this problem of the edit pivot, which should be on the actual object. And we should be able to move it. It's really not happy. Like, why is that even an issue? Now there's some water in a pool. And this too, this edit pivot point should be like that. And when we go to scale, we'll scale that up. Now, if that was the case, we should be able to join this and this. So how would we do that? We go to select, and we say I want to select this and select that, and then we should be able to join them. If we do and make a single part, I don't think we want to make them a single part. I think we want to take the two of these and we want to scale them up big enough so if we scale them up and then rotate them together, and I can, by the way, I can put them into a group as a folder and call it water tank or water pool. And then I can also take the two of these and I can group them as a model that has in them these two things. I can call this water pool model. And then in there, I have the ability to give this a different material. There is no material for water. So it would have to be, oh, what is that? Glacier, slate, plastic, snow. This one here is, what is that? Marble, glacier, ice. Ice is not a bad one. Glacier's okay, it has the most ripples. And then give it a color that we hope will persist. Okay. It wouldn't really be a bright blue like that, it would be more of a, maybe like that. And then the Akrich pool should have the material being the same kind of, it could be marble, that's kind of cool. And the color being that. Alright, that's more promising. And then it should be rotated and continue to scale it up, the whole thing. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Take the water pool model and scale it up. And let's look down, focus in, and let's move the whole thing. Maybe it needs to be scaled a little bit larger. Yikes. Alright, so the pool has to go first. It has to be scaled. Not like that. It has to be scaled. Can you let me in there? Go to the model. No. You're not letting me. Yes, you are. Okay. Then the whole thing can get scaled down a bit. And we have a mess. Because the water fill is now messed up. Loading things never, the one just never sees stop. Not you. There, you. Okay. Except it's not touching the ground. Why? Why? Okay. Let's lock that. Anchor it. And let's see. If we walk around, there's the pool. At least it's got water. It's a bit big, isn't it? It's really big. And it's messed up for sure. So unlock it. And let's go and scale it down. And move it. Change the edit pivot. And move it. And then there are these bushes in here that we need to put on here. So, bush. I kind of like putting that little bush there, scaling that way down, and then moving it there, and then duplicating it, and duplicating it. Taking all of those bushes moving them into, find it, where did it go? Wall. Where's pool? Somewhere in here there's a pool. And I can't find it, so there it is, water pool. So put that in the same folder, and then they all will go together. Much better. And now publish to Roblox. And let's try and play it and see, is that really better? Well, yes, it is. Well, it's still massive. This little guy. And it's way off. But that doesn't mean that we can't go back in and take this entire folder and move it down like that. Try that. Yeah, it's more reasonable. All right, good. I'm not terribly displeased with that. I'm terribly displeased with this landscape because that should not happen. Shouldn't be a place to get lost down in there. And that is entirely because of when we brought in the wall after our modifications. And the wall is now locked. So I'm going to unlock the wall and hazard what happens if I move the wall. And to do that, I'm going to edit the pivot point and make the pivot point on this wall so I have some flexibility with it. And move the whole wall over. This then creates a problem. And so I've also got to go and rotate the wall. But I think we are a little better now. And publish to Roblox. All right, time to take a break.